How's it going, Pat? No complaints. I'm wondering, in a normal year, when you show up for training camp, at what point during camp do you go from feeling like it's the summer to feeling like your body is really ready to play football?
I don't know. It depends on the player, I guess. You could say. I mean, I feel like if people are taking care of their bodies all summer, like stretching and rehab and all that kind of thing, I feel like your body can stay pretty consistent. Obviously, probably around end of week 1, middle of week 2, maybe your body starts to kind of feel like, oh, I'm in camp mode, like my body's starting to hurt. But if you stay on top of things and work out and rehab and do all that kind of thing, I think your body can stay pretty consistent. Obviously, you'll stay sore, but if you can work through those things, I think your body feels pretty good. I like the Chance the Rapper in the background too, by the way.
Next up is Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for the time today.
No problem.
What does leadership look like right now in college football for Penn State going into the summer of 2020? And how is it different than it has been in the past when normalcy allowed you guys to get together and hold each other accountable in person?
Yeah, I think it's definitely challenging. I watched Lamont's press conference, and he said the same. I'm going to say the same thing. It's kind of you kind of show who your leaders are. I think a lot of guys are checking up on people because I mean you're so used to seeing guys' face every single day and saying what's up. But when you're away from them, you realize how much of a strong relationship you have with everyone on the team. I think especially that's true with Penn State. I think everyone on the team is just friends and really look out for each other. So when you kind of reach out to people you haven't really talked to in a while, it's good to connect. I mean, I talked to Smith Gilbert the other day, and I haven't talked to him in forever, and it was just good to talk to him and see him, and he's doing great. And it's definitely challenging leadership-wise, just kind of checking with everyone. But I think it's really helped me in a way because I've been able to kind of make sure I hold people more accountable, and that's kind of my next step in my leadership growth, making sure that it's okay to be that bad guy, to make sure to come down on people if they're not doing the right things. So it's kind of helped me in a way.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
Hi, Pat. Thanks for your time today. First of all, are you in State College or are you back at home?
I'm back home right now. I'm planning on coming back whenever they tell us to come back.
Okay. Have you allowed yourself to imagine what playing games would be like at this fall in an empty stadium or maybe one with maybe only 15, 20,000 people in it? And how would you feel about that?
It's definitely going to be weird. I mean, obviously it's a thought just because of the whole thing going on, and it's definitely a thought. But, I mean, if we play in front of no fans and in front of 20,000 fans, in front of 100,000 fans, it's still a game of football. I mean, you only need a field and 2 goalposts to play. And if you really love the game of football, you're going to play it regardless. I mean, I'm would be just grateful to go out there and play in Beaver Stadium one more time with or without fans. I mean, I think most of the guys would say that too. I mean, you play this game for the love of it. Obviously, the fans help, and we love the fans. But if you can go out there and play the game, it's honestly a true blessing.
Thank you.
Next up is Mark Brennan, Lions 247.
Hey, Pat, is there a player or maybe two, a tight end at the next level that you maybe pattern your game after? And when you watch the NFL, what are you looking for when you're watching tight ends play? What are the things that stand out to you?
Obviously, this time has been so big for me, just kind of being able to have time to watch NFL tight ends. Obviously, without practice and stuff, I don't have time to watch my own film. But I've definitely taken the time to watch like George Kittle, and Travis Kelce, and even Gronk and O.J. Howard. But I just kind of pick different things from their game that they're good at, and I kind of find myself as unique tight end because I'm very willing to block, and I think I have the ability to win man coverage like Kelce can. I think that I've learned a lot of footwork. I mean, even talking to Cliff, like he's been so detailed on his footwork, and I've been so detailed on my footwork. If your footwork's not in the right place, then you're not going to be able to get what you need to get done. So that's something big that I've kind of picked up on and watched film. Their footwork is so precise and so consistent that it really allows them to have a really good play or snap or game or whatever it is.
Next up is Audrey Snyder, The Athletic.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for your time this afternoon. Just wondering, we've seen the last probably year and a half or so with you, you've become a pretty good and a pretty active recruiter for Penn State, and of course we saw that with Theo. When did you start to embrace your role as a recruiter, and why do you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, to be honest, it just goes back to the love of Penn State. I think ever since, honestly, I can truthfully say this, ever since I took that first drive down 80, I think it is, and I saw Beaver Stadium, I just fell in love with it. I think that just my love for the program, for Franklin, all the coaches, for the staff, I think that I just want them to see them succeed and get the best talent they can to continue building this program. I think as everyone on the team, including Coach Franklin, said, we haven't reached our ultimate goal yet, which is that national championship. And until we reach that goal, I think that we can put our effort into recruiting and everything to try and get better in every aspect. And I think that just my love for Penn State and the community, I just feel like I need to give back into the players and get the right kind of people and the right kind of kids on the team and get involved in this community.
John Sauber, Center Daily Times.
Hey, Pat, what are your thoughts on the new offense, and do you expect to be used any differently than you were in Ricky Ronnie's offense?
Yeah, I love the new offense. It's awesome, and it's very simple, and it's very effective, and I think it's going to allow us to go out there and play fast. Obviously, without spring ball, there's some question marks about how fast we're going to be able to pick it up. But, I mean, on these Zoom meetings, we've been picking up really fast, and Coach Rocco's made it really simple and allowed us to play fast. I mean, I guess you guys have to find out, like, about, I guess, how they're going to use me. I mean, I know, and coaches know and all that, but I'm not going to leak too many details out. But obviously there's some rumors about he doesn't use the tight ends, but I can promise you I'm going to be used, and I'm going to have a pretty good season, I hope.
Next up is Nubias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Hey, man, how's it going, Pat?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. You mentioned watching Lamont's press conference, and assuming you heard the things he said about Aeneas and some of the other issues. How important is it as a teammate who is white to support him when he's talking about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's really important to me. I mean, I reached out to Aeneas. I mean, he was my roommate actually. We moved into the apartments last year, and it's definitely weird. It's definitely a challenging circumstance. I know. I mean, you see it all on social media, and it's very disappointing that our country has really came to that kind of felt the need to do that to Aeneas. And to be honest, it never really has affected my life or any of my friends. But then obviously happening to Aeneas kind of really hit home. Kind of made it real to me that, you know, it's not just on social media. Like, this just happened to one of my teammates. So obviously I'm there for him. I'm there for all my teammates, and I just got to be that kind of supporting and just kind of stand up for him.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Morning, Pat. Thanks for your time. What are the challenges for you of learning virtually as opposed to being in the building, you know, speaking to coaches and your teammates? How have you handled that, and how have you been able to work on what you think you need to work on?
Yeah, so I'm very like a visual learner, and I'm very kind of, I have to do that act of, you know, running a certain route that's new. So I mean, I've kind of adjusted in the fact where I've been taking my notes, and then I'll go out to the field and I'll see my notes of the route particularly, and then my high school friends have actually been huge. That played high school football, they've been helping me out, just kind of really helping me propel to my goal of having a really good year. So they've been standing off like coverages and all that kind of stuff just to kind of get the right footwork down for a certain route. So they've been huge and helpful, and it's definitely challenging to kind of not be there in spring ball and stuff. But I mean, I think I've been able to stay pretty consistent with my work ethic, and it's actually kind of helped. I mean, I've been doing 2 days, so it's been really huge, kind of just taking full advantage of this.
Peter Turkstra, WTAJ.
Hey, Pat. Kind of along those same lines, what has been the most challenging part of having to go home and kind of being isolated? And on the flip side, if you could pick out any positives from this time, what would it be?
It's definitely hard. I feel like most athletes would say this. It's definitely hard to kind of break that routine that you go in, kind of wake up in the morning, have breakfast, go to class, and go do whatever you need to do for football. It's definitely hard to kind of do that at home But I mean, I feel like this kind of tests your true love of the game and true character as a worker, because you don't really have a structure. You have to get up and on your own and do what you have to do. So it definitely challenges people's work ethic, and I think if you can overcome that, then I think you're golden. And obviously, the positive of this whole thing is just kind of spend time with my family. This is the first time I've spent time with my family for this amount of time. Ever since my brother left for college, his senior year of high school after he left for college, we haven't been this long together for forever. So it's awesome, and obviously there's some negatives to that too. Obviously, my family's gone on our nerves a little bit, but it's just awesome to spend time with them, and it's great.
Jerry DePaula, Pittsburgh Tribune Review.
Good afternoon, Pat. Thanks for your time. Every summer it seems Penn State is getting ready for a season and coming off a season. Penn State were at least top 25, usually between top 10 or top 15. What is that like to be able to keep up that standard every year?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's why you come to a program like Penn State. You want to attract good players and good recruits, and to come and kind of uphold that standard. I think that Penn State's in a great spot right now, where we've been on that bubble for all the time I've been here, and even previous years before I was here. I think that this year is the step where we need to make that next jump. I think we're not going to be satisfied if we stay consistent like that. I think we need to take those rankings and kind of not pay really attention to them and just focus on us and take that next jump.
Nate Bauer, Blue White Illustrated.
Hey, Pat. A couple of weeks ago, James Franklin kind of talked about the possibility of not being able, when you do return, of not being able to meet as a team or meeting as an offense. And he even brought up, maybe not being able to meet the quarterbacks all together as a group. Have you considered the same for the tight ends? Like, have you considered some of the quirky practicality type of things that might have to happen to be able to play football in the fall?
Not really. I haven't really kind of considered that. I'm thinking about, getting back and being with my teammates. And we're all just excited to get back. So if there's certain guidelines we have to follow where we all can't meet as a team or can't meet as all a position group, then we're going to have to follow that. But I haven't really thought about it, to be completely honest. I'm just excited to get back and see my teammates in any way that we're allowed to.
All right, we'll do another round of questions. If you don't have a question when your name is called, just say pass. Ben Jones, statecollege.com.
How many different ways do you absorb the same kind of information when you're getting presented, something about the offense? Is it all visual for you? Is it all tests? Is it, video? How many different ways do you get the same information given to you?
We get it a lot, actually. We get tests. We get quizzes every week. We go through it. Coach Tebow wants us to send videos of what we're doing for workouts and the routes we're running and stuff like that. So we get it a lot. I think it's good just kind of expand our learning abilities. I think obviously watching film of what Minnesota and Western Michigan have done in the past really helps just to kind of see where they were at, what they're running, what they did. But it definitely challenges certain learners. If you're a visual learner and if you're an in-person learner, then definitely challenges them. But you just got to kind of make do with the times.
Next up is Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
Hey, Pat. James told us back in March that he wasn't anticipating Theo Johnson to be very active in spring ball coming off of that shoulder injury in the winter. But how would you gauge his initial entrance to Penn State football, the couple months you got to spend with him on campus, and you could kind of assess his future in that tight end room, not just this year, but long down the road when you're gone?
Yeah, I think Theo's in a really good spot right now. I think he's come in with the right mentality ever since he got here. Obviously with his shoulder, that kind of set him back a little bit, but he has that right mentality. He has that right approach to his treatment. He has the right approach to learning the offense. He has the right approach to school. So he has a really good mentality, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow. I'm excited to work with him when he comes back. But I think that not only him, but the whole tight end room, I think that they're in a great position to push each other and push me. And I think Tyler Warren's doing a great job too. I think he's a very smart kid, and I'm just excited to see all the tight ends come in and push each other.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle.
How would you describe your concern about the coronavirus, just general. And what are some of the things that Penn State can do to make it comfortable for you when you return in terms of testing and so on?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about coronavirus. Obviously, it's a global pandemic, and obviously it's something very serious. I think you have to be very careful about who you're socializing with and where you're going and all that kind of stuff, and make sure you follow all the guidelines. But I think if you can do that, then I think that you're in a good position. I think that you can't live in fear in a way. Almost, you kind of have to continue about your daily life in a way, but you got to also follow those guidelines and be safe and be precautionary. Obviously, coming back on Penn State, I think that if everyone on campus, everyone on the team can follow to the guidelines, if that's, still in-person classes, but cut down lecture halls and maybe getting your temperature checked before going in buildings, I think that that's the kind of things we have to do to go back to start our normal lives.
Mark Brennan, Lions 247.
Pat, can you go a little bit more in depth about Tyler Warren and what you really like about him? Because he's a guy who was a little bit under the radar. I don't mean that in a negative way. And in terms of being a leader with those young guys at this time, how big is it for you to step up in that role when everybody's operating remotely?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Tyler. Obviously, he's just gotten to meetings because he just graduated from high school or whatever the NCAA allowed him to come in, but he just got in, and I know he's really impressed me with the amount he's known from the offense. I think I saw videos of him in the winter dunking and playing basketball, and I think he's a really athletic guy. I don't think I've ever seen him play football other than his highlight film in person, but he looks like a great kid and a great football player. So I'm excited to learn get to work with him and mentor him. What was the other question? Sorry.
Can you got me?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. You're good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. In terms of being a leader, when you have so many young guys in that room, having to do it kind of remotely, is it especially important to step up in that role now? I'm sorry I didn't get that clear earlier.
Yeah, no, it's definitely huge for me. Obviously, I've been meeting with Brenton extra every Sunday, just kind of going over the offense and making sure he gets it. I've been meeting with Zach just to make sure he gets it too. But I make sure that all the tight ends know that they can reach out to me with any questions they have, and a lot of them do. I think I understand this offense pretty well, so I think I'm a good resource for everyone on the offense. And at different positions, they've all reached out to me, and Cliff and the leaders on the offense, to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page. So I think learning virtually is definitely hard, but I think that I've adjusted well and becoming a really good leader.
Audrey Snyder, The Athletic.
Pat, I think you mentioned a few questions ago about working out twice a day now. How are you doing that? What kind of things are you doing? And do you have somebody who's throwing to you right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been doing 2 days, like I said. I've been waking up at 7:45 every morning. I'll have a routine where I have some coffee, eat breakfast, and then I'll go and lift weights with my trainer outside. And then I think in the next couple of days we're allowed to go back in the gym. I think that's one of the phases for Massachusetts. But I've been lifting outside and doing all that, and then I'll go to meetings, have lunch, and then I'll go run some routes, do some field work. But my high school quarterback's actually throwing at me. He's the starting quarterback at Trinity College. He was rookie of the year there, so he's a great quarterback. So I've been really working out with him a lot.
Next up is John Salver, Center Daily Times.
Hey, Pat, do you feel any added pressure to perform this year now that you've sort of seen these pre-draft rankings for next year and kind of knowing where you stand in that landscape?
Yeah. So I'm aware of those things and aware of the preseason hype and all that. But I've actually deleted my social media a week ago just to kind of stay away from that and not kind of get my head wrapped around that, because I need to focus on my time being at Penn State and just trying to take full advantage of this, because if I don't have a good season this year or I don't perform, then it's all down the drain. It's just preseason hype, and I got to block out the noise and continue to do what my process has been ever since I got to Penn State, is to kind of work and do what I need to do to become better and help the team. So I need to take that same mentality to this season, and hopefully I continue to progress in my career.
Next up is Nubias Wilbur, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Here we go. All right, we in there?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So last month, Tyler Bowen told us about how he thinks you could be the best tight end in the country. One, what does that mean when he says that? And two, what's that relationship been like developing with you guys?
Yeah, I completely agree with what he said. I mean, we've been talking about that since, after my freshman year. My goal is to be the best, considered the best tight end in the country. As you guys all know, my goal is to win the Mackey and become an All-American and all that, and that hasn't stopped yet. I think that me and Tebow's relationship has grown immensely throughout the years. Coming in, he really saw something in me that maybe I didn't see at first myself, but he pushed me to become a great player, and I think that he's developed me great through these past couple of years, and I think that this year I just need to put it all together. I think that to become the best tight end in the country, I need to excel in every aspect of the game: run blocking, pass protection, and running routes. I think I'm equipped to do all the above, and I think that the work I put in this offseason, that I'm very confident that I'm able to get that done, and I'm very confident in myself as a player that I can become the best tight end in the country.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Pat, it's May 27th. You still don't know when you're going to go back to campus. We still don't even know if the first game is going to be played September 5th as scheduled. What are your thoughts about all the uncertainty? And do you ever, alone at night sit and think, geez, there may not be a season, or there will be a adjusted or amended season?
Yeah, I'd be lying to say that I haven't thought about it. Obviously, I've thought about it, but you just kind of try to block the noise out and kind of stay away from what people have been saying. You look on media, social media is another reason why I delete it, is because you have all these people where it's very positive and you have all these people where it's very negative. So I feel like you just kind of have that mentality that you have to come and wake up every single day that you're going to have a season. You're going to have, August training camp. You're going to have September 5th start date. You're going to come back in June or July. You got to have that kind of mentality to just be ready to go, because, you're kind of taking a backseat to this and kind of making excuses not to work out and being like, oh, we're not going to have a season, and all of a sudden you're told to come back and you're not ready, then, it's on you. So I'm not allowing that to happen to myself.
Peter Terpstra, WTAJ.
I feel like every team in the country probably has some level of frustration or uncertainty, like you just kind of talked about. Teams that are able to be in the running for a national championship this next year, what do you think would set those teams apart?
Just how they handle this time. I feel like Coach Franklin was obviously big in putting the team in ways of adversity throughout the summer, winter workouts, that's camp. But I think, obviously this is unplanned adversity, but I think that he's smiling somewhere, kind of being like, I'm interested to see how my team is going to handle this. And I feel like that, the team is going to handle it very well. I think we have handled it very well, and I think we're itching to get back. But when we get back, it is go time. And I feel like for the teams in general of college football, I feel like the teams that are going to be successful this year have had guys holding each other accountable in this time and not slacking off, and I think that we've done that. So, I'm very positive and very hopeful that we're going to come back and compete for that national championship.
Time for a couple more. We got Jerry DePaula, Pittsburgh Tribune Review.
Pat, a minute ago you mentioned that you tend to stay off of social media and try to ignore it as much as possible. But do you ever find yourself walking in one of those old school college stores, picking up one of those preseason college magazines and say, "Oh, I wonder what they think of us this year"?
I have not, to be honest. I have not. I'm sure my grandfather does, but I have not. I kind of like to stay away from newspapers, all that kind of stuff, and I kind of been reading some books recently. But so it's been pretty interesting, kind of get my mentality on the right page. But I'm sure my grandfather does. And yeah, that's about it, to be honest.
And last question, Nate Bauer, Blue White Illustrated. Go ahead, Nate.
Pat, what, just for you personally in your game, what area do you feel like you've developed the most since you started at Penn State?
I'd probably say my route running. Just kind of coming in, I was awful. I mean, I was god awful. Looking back on the film freshman year, I still don't know how I played. But I played. I was effective, and just kind of seeing my growth as a route runner. I would say that I'm pretty proud of myself for that. But I always have to continue to grow. There's obviously ways I can get better at my route running. But beyond that, I feel like that my mental has grown a lot. Just kind of going forward to speaking about like my approach to things, just kind of my mental awareness of coverages and all that. I just feel like I'm coming into college. I didn't know what to expect, but I feel like I took everything. I was like a sponge when I came in. I took everything that Trace taught me. I took everything that Coach Ryan taught me. I took everything that Tebow taught me, and I kind of just absorbed that and used that into my growth.
All right, Pat. Thanks for joining us, and thank you everybody for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Greg, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Tobias. What's up?
Can we just ask him what books he's reading?
Yeah, go for
it. Yeah, I've been reading the TB12 book, just about pliability and kind of mentality about that. I've been reading, I can't swear, but The Art of Not Giving. I've been reading that, the book. Just kind of, it's awesome. But and then I actually read the Penn State book. I forget what it's called, but it's about different stories of people in the past, so like Wally Triplett and different people like that. Actually, my grandfather's best friend, who coached me in high school, he's like Masters, really good coach. He actually gave me the book, so it's a great book. I'll be sure, if you guys want to know the name, just DM me on Twitter. I'll get back to it whenever I go back on social media. So just let me know.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.